Hi everyone, my name is Abhilash Parekh. I am from Informatica GCS team. Today we are going to discuss about high availability on IIR, how to configure it and how to start the server in active passive mode. So today's agenda will be overview, architecture of the HA, order of starting servers, executable used to start all the servers individually, and executing command to start all the servers on all the node individually, and then followed by the demo session. High availability comprises of at least two servers, that is a primary server and the secondary server. So all the servers starting in primary node will become as a primary server. All the servers starting in secondary node will be as a secondary server. So if any of the reason, if primary server will become inactive or it goes down, then the secondary server will become the primary server and it will take up all the request and response. In previous versions of IIR, rule-based server and search server along with the connection server could be started in HA configuration as what was called as a rule-based group. Starting from IIR version 10.5, synchronization server can also be configured and started in high availability configuration. With more of the IIR server now supporting HA, the term rule-based group is also referred to as a server group. Search server with a load balancer can act as an active-active configuration, and search server with server group can act as an active-passive configuration. So this is the architecture of high availability. Here you can see rule-based server 1, rule-based server 2. So rule-based server 1 starting in primary node, and rule-based server 2 starting in a secondary node. So it is as a secondary server, and RB server 1 is the primary rule-based server. So if both of the servers and both of the nodes are sharing the common database, so if any of the if primary server, that primary rule-based server goes down due to any of the reason, then the rule-based server 2 will become the primary, and once this primary server will come back, then again it can go to the primary to the rule-based server 1 as a primary server, and same goes for the sync server 1 and sync server 2. The order of starting the server. The ideal order of starting server is first rule-based server, then search server, then connection server, then sync server, then HTTP server, then console server. So the requisite here is to start the rule. You have to start the rule-based server 1 first, then the search server, and the other remaining server can be started in any other order. But first you have to start the rule-based server, and then the search server, which is the requisite. And console server should be started at the end, because while starting the console server, you have to define what all the server you basically started. So the executable used to start all the servers. If you go to the IIR bin directory, you can see SSA SRSV, SSA COSV, SSA CSSV executable. So you can use this executable to start all the servers. So using the executable SSA SRSV, you can start 5 different servers. That is the rule-based server, search server, XML sync server, XML search server, and HTTP server. And with executable SSA COSV, you can start the connection server. If you are specifying SSA COSV, that means you are starting the connection server. And if you are specifying SSA CSSV, then that means you are starting the console server. But with SSA SRSV, 5 different server can be started. So you have to specify the parameters so that the engine will know which server basically you want to start. So if you're giving SSA SRSV -m, that means you're starting the rule-based server. If you're giving -n, then that means you're starting the search server. If you're specifying -s, that means you're starting the XML sync server, and -x is for XML search server, -h is for HTTP server. This is the executing. Now coming to the executing commands, which you can use to start all the servers on all the nodes one by one. Either you can define all the command in one script or batch file and run the batch file at one shot, or you can run these command individually one by one to start all the servers. So before starting the rule-based server, it is always a good practice to define the logs environment variable and define all the logs IIR and DBG log path in the environment variable, so that at the time of starting the server, if due to any of the reason the server didn't come up or having throwing some error, so that it can be reported in any of the logs or ER files, so that we can see those logs and files and troubleshoot to fix that issue. So with SSA SRSV-M, that means you are starting the rule-based server, and then you have to specify the port number. That means you are starting the rule-based server with that in that port. Then you have to specify -g parameter. That means you are adding that rule-based server in that specified group. So you can keep a group. You can give any name of that group. I have given here, for example, my group. You can give any name and can give any name to that group, and then you can follow to specify other parameter, that is -w, that is for frequency polling, and -e is for making sure that the secondary server won't go down when primary server goes down. So regarding other parameters, you can check the operation guide. We have specified all the parameters in the operation guides. So now coming to the search server, you can start the search server with SSA SRSV followed by -n parameter and the port number, and you specify the -g. That means you are adding this search server in that server group, and followed by the other parameter as per the requirement. Same goes for connection server. You can export the logs and then use the executable and the parameters to start the connection server. Same goes for sync server. You can export the logs, all the DBG ER logs, and then use the executable SSA SRSV followed by the parameter -s. That means you are starting the sync server and other parameter as per the requirement. Same goes for XML search server and HTTP server, and then the console server. So while starting the console server, you have to specify which all server you have already started. So we have started the connection server, search server, XML search server, sync server, HTTP server. So you have to specify it while starting the console server. Before starting with the demo session, let's quickly take a look on the operation guide. So this is the under operation guide, under server chapter, you can see high availability and parameter used to starting the server. So you can see and go through all the parameters, and you can use this parameter with the executable to start the server in a respective format. So let's go to the demo session. I have the environment. So in this, I have installed IIR into different directory, uh, and I have used the different ports for different servers. For example, if you go to the env and open the IIS file, yeah. So if you go to the IIS file, I have given the port number 166, 1667 and 16 series here. And for node 2, I have given the port number as 266, 266. So basically all the servers are starting in a different port. So similarly, I have created the batch script for node 1 and batch script for node 2. So I have specified all the servers and starting all the servers one by one separately. So similarly, you can create a script same way. For the Linux, you can create the script, and for the Windows, you can create a batch file. Here I have specified the logs parameter to generate the logs, and to start the rule-based server. First, we starting the rule-based server, provided the executable SSA SRSV, followed by -m parameter to make sure that the rule-based server starts up, followed by the group server group name. So I have specified the server group name as a my group. So similarly, I am starting the search server and sync server together because both using the same executable. But it is always recommended, and we always have it is a request, since a rule-based server, search server, sync server, all three are server as using this common executable SSA RSP. But we have to start rule-based server first, and then search server and sync server you can start together. So SSA RSP, and we have given the -n parameter for the search server, -ns parameter for the sync server, and then -g parameter specifying the group name, and -g parameter to add the sync server to this group, and followed by the logs detail. You can add other parameters also as per your requirement. So similarly, I am doing the connection server and console server. So basically in this, I am starting the rule-based server, search server, sync server, connection server, and console server. Same script same way I did with the node 2. So now quickly go to this node 1 env directory, open the command prompt from here. I'll set the environment variable and will run the node node batch file. So now you can see the rule-based server started. It will take a 10-second time to start the another server, because in the command search server started along with the sync server. In the script, in the batch file, I have provided the wait time of 10 seconds, so that's why it is waiting for 10 seconds to start the another server. So we have connection server already started, then the console server. So you have all the 5 servers started fine here. So you can go to the IDS folder and check the logs. So if you open the IDS RBG DBG log, so here you will see first it will establishing as a primary server, because it didn't find any other server running, so it is establishing as a primary server. And then after the primary poll thread and the polling frequency, it established as a primary rule-based server. So similarly, if you open the sync server log also, so here also you can see it is first is start the search server started, and then it is establishing as a primary sync server, and then finally it is established as a primary sync server. So now this is the primary sync server, and the primary rule-based server is started from node 1. So now we'll go to the node 2 and env directory and open the command prompt from here, set the environment variable, run the batch script, and it will start the rule base on second server. So now see search server and sync server also started. Now connection server started. Now it will start the console server. Now console server is also started. You can see the port number also specified here. So now let's go again back to the node 2 IDS directory and see the logs. IDS RB DBG log here. So you can see started server thread, secondary polling, and established as a secondary rule-based server. So similarly, if you'll open the IDS SC DBG log, here you can see the search server already started, and then it is secondary polling frequency, and then it's established as a secondary sync server. So like this, you can see the logs and see the logs to check which server is secondary and primary. Similar way, you can go to the this database side and open this IDS RB group table. I'll just do the refresh and I'll open this table. So here you can see 1668 and 1666. So this is my rule-based server. This is my search server, sync server. So 1.6 and 1.6 series is I have given for the node 1. So you can see node 1 is elected as a primary server for rule base and the sync server. So now what we will do, I'll just rule base server 1 is there. I'll just kill this rule base server 1, and we'll see if secondary rule base server will become the primary or not. So I'll just close this session. I'll go to the same directory node2 rb dbg log, and I'll try to open it. It will take some fraction of seconds to switch over to the secondary node. So yeah, now we got the uh, logs update. So you can see established as a primary rule base server. So earlier it was as a secondary server. As soon as I killed the primary rule base server, then this secondary rule base server will became the primary rule base server. So similarly, if I'll go and kill the search and sync server from node 1, then again this real action will happen and the secondary server will become the primary now. Let's see in the log. So as of now, it is a secondary sync server. So we'll wait for some second to switch over to happen. So yeah, so you can see establishing as primary sync server and then finally established as a primary sync server. So like that, the high availability configuration you can do and achieve this thing. And same thing if you go to the database RB group and do the select, you will see the port. So whatever information will be there in the RB group table, that will be of a primary node. Secondary node information, it won't be here. So if you're seeing the port number and the host name and all, so that means this is the primary server. Okay, that's all from this. That's all from this session. We would love to hear from you. You can share you can send us an email to supportvideo@informatica.com. You can follow us on Twitter and twitter.com/infosupport. Thank you.